Greetings, brothers and sisters. I got a lot to get to. Alec B. Baldwin's in trouble again. I want to do a review of one of Corey Feldman's new horrible movies, or recent horrible movies. And I want to do also a sort of critique of the Anakin Skywalker Disney Channel series, and there's some other things. But let's start here. So, Jojo Magoo is in Keene, New Hampshire. You can hear the questioner, the person asking the question saying, "How do you like Keene?" which is in New Hampshire. And Jojo Magoo responds that he really likes Vermont, which we'll let him do it to himself here.
Of Keene.
I'm back. I've been here a number of times. Last time was, I think, all the way back in 2014. But I've been here before that. I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what
Exactly. New Hampshire sucks. I'd rather be in Vermont.
What a neat town. This is sort of a scenic, beautiful town. The mayor's been a good guy, and everybody's been really friendly.
This is classic Jojo Magoo. Now, it would be understandable for people to confuse Vermont and New Hampshire in certain circumstances, because I lived not that far from there. New Hampshire and Vermont are basically inverted states of each other, right? They're just very similar people, not a lot of population, going all the way up to Maine. And so it's very easy to confuse the two states. But when you are the president and you have people whisper in your ear, remember, you're in New Hampshire, not Vermont, and you've been told over and over again, and then you say this, on top of all your other gaffes, how is there this, right? How do you go from, like, not knowing the difference between New Hampshire and Vermont when you've been, someone just said, you remember you're in New Hampshire before he gave the interview, because they know he does stuff like this. And, I've been watching that show, Veep. Whoever recommended that show to me, that was a great recommend. Like, I never would have watched it in a million years. I want to talk about separately, but it's like so great the way it destroys the credibility of politicians. Everyone's so greasy in it. But there is a bagman that whispers in the Veep's ear about who's this, where you are, all these things, right? Jojo Magoo has that times 20. And so how do you get dark branded from that? Democratic candidates are hesitant to campaign with Biden despite recent win streak. And so they say he's had all these accomplishments, and yet the candidates don't want any part of them. DOJ says Trump team likely concealed and removed classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. And so that means nothing really, right? You can't say likely, right? Do you have proof or not? If you don't have proof, you shouldn't be saying anything.
Morning, the Justice Department revealing explosive new information in the ongoing criminal
It's not explosive. It has the word likely in it.
investigation into highly classified documents seized from former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. In a late-night court filing, the DOJ contends the top-secret documents were likely concealed and moved around in an effort to obstruct its investigation.
Okay, so why? How do you know that? If you could get rid of the word likely and say that you have proof, then, it would be news. The word likely means that you don't know, right? You can, if you use the word likely, right, you can make anything up.
Adding that Mr. Trump's representatives falsely claimed under oath that all of the materials had been returned. The filing also includes this striking new photo showing documents with
So are they going to get prosecuted for perjury?
Classified markings laid out on the carpet that it says were taken from, quote, 45 office.
Those cover sheets are on the top of all classified records. And so it's pretty obvious to anybody, even somebody perhaps who didn't do their homework or read the materials presented to him when he was president, that this stuff is classified and has to be treated.
All right, then, the story is just like completely fizzling out. Family of Marine killed in Afghanistan files second lawsuit against Alec P. Baldwin. So I covered this story before. Well, let's just read this. Widow and sister of U.S. Marine killed in Afghanistan during the military's chaotic departure from the country in 2021 are again suing actor Alec Baldwin for at least $25 million, claiming he exposed them online to vitriol after the actor accused one of the women of being a January 6th insurrectionist. The federal suit was filed in the Southern District of New York on Friday by the family of Marine Lance Corporal Riley McCollum, who was one of the 13 Marines killed by a suicide bomber outside of the airport there. After McCollum's death, Baldwin found one of the Marine's sisters, Royce, on Instagram and sent her a check for $5,000 for his widow. Because she had a newborn baby, Baldwin said the check was a tribute to a fallen soldier. So he did something that would be good, right? Many celebrities don't do that. Like, he didn't make it public. Like, that wasn't something he talked about on Instagram. I mean, he's a very braggadocious person, but it was actually a good thing, right? He saw that there was a Marine that died and had just had a baby, and he gave $5,000, right? Which is, I mean, it's not a ton of money for someone like this, but, it's a good gesture. Months later, in January 2022, the 30 Rock star got into a public spat with Royce after she posted a photo of herself attending a protest near the Washington Monument on January, this date, ahead of the first anniversary of the Capitol Hill. Whatchamacallit. In response, Baldwin accused her of participating in the riot and called her an insurrectionist. Right? Here she is here. And this is what he said. Are you the same woman that I sent the money to for your sister's husband and was killed during the Afghanistan exit? And it went on from there. I covered this. He just doesn't know when to shut up, right? And, she's now been targeted even though she wasn't there at that date. And there she is, I guess, with her now dead brother. There they are, the two people. And so he thought he gave her $5,000 and then he could lord it over her, right? And now he's being sued, and it's just, all the things wrong with Alec Baldwin wrapped up into one nice little package. Meghan Markle tells Mariah Carey she was not treated as a black woman until she started dating Prince Harry.
It's the second episode of her Spotify podcast, Archetypes, on Tuesday. And this week, she welcomes music legend Mariah Carey as her guest.
So she's into her second episode. She's got someone almost annoying as she is.
The new episode, titled The Duality of Diva, sees Meghan delving into the evolution of the diva label.
This word diva, which actually means goddess in Latin, the word just warped.
It just warped. They warped diva. How dare they?
It went from high class to high maintenance.
Whoa. Just look at her insights. This podcast is going places.
From fun, like, yes, diva, to, she's such a diva.
Boom. Why did that happen? Why did these self-centered narcissists get labeled with a word that once meant something great and now means something pretty bad, right? It goes on from there. It's just really annoying. I can't listen to it again. Madonna calls sex her obsession, explains why she regrets both marriages. Well, speaking of divas, Madam Expiration Date, the bad kind of diva. When asked in a YouTube video posted on Tuesday about her bad decisions, she said getting married both times, she said, were her bad decisions.
What would you say if you met yourself from the future right now?
Don't take any of this seriously.
Exactly. Don't try to prolong your career and be desperate, be Madam Expiration Date. Just let it go. Take life as it comes, right? It's one of these weird,
Keep asking me stupid questions and I might hang myself from it.
Wow.
What has been the most challenging part about working on your film?
Biggest challenge is cramming my entire life into a feature-length film.
It's crazy. She's gotten so old. She's such an expiration date. It's like, even with the whatever they're doing to her face, I mean, you just see that she's aging more quickly. She's an old 65 or whatever, right? As you get older, some people age faster, some people don't. An expiration date is aging faster. Nicky Hilton shares first photo of 2-month-old son with his sisters. This is Nicky Hilton, Paris's brother or sister or whatever. But here's her husband. He is a Rothschilds. Hilton and James Rothschild. He's a real keeper of the legendary Rothschilds banking family. Okay, so I started watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Disney Channel, mini-series, whatever they call these one-season TV shows. 6 episodes. And I did it because partially I wanted to see how bad it was. Because I've watched with great joy, as many of you have been around for a while, as the Star Wars universe has imploded. So I was, I think, 8 years old when the first Star Wars movie came out. It was the 4th in the series, which was strange place to start, as we all know now, and back then. But when I was a kid, it was magical. There was nothing like this before. The special effects, and I was mesmerized watching the movie. And then the second one came out, Empire Strikes Back, and I was a little older and it wasn't as good. And then Return of the Jedi sucked. I think I must have been in college or whatever by the time that came out. But anyways, then they came out with the prequel movies, and the first 2 ones sucked bad, and Jar Jar Binks was it was so annoying, and they, but I mean, they did well financially either way. And the third episode, the 6th episode, and the third in the prequel series was to me the best movie, the only really good movie, where Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader. Then Disney, which has Marvel and Universal and all these, is just gobbling up these content creators, purchased the Star Wars rights, and then made the last 3 films, which has made the series and universe suck retroactively. Plus, they've made a couple of offshoot films or series, and this is one of them. And spoiler alert, I'm going to crap all over it because, it's kind of hilariously bad. And, the guy who plays Obi-Wan Kenobi is a good actor, right? And he does a good job even in this, but it's just such a nightmare. The acting's really bad. And, they do these series that don't have as much money as a big budgeted movie, but they're longer. So, there's more opportunity for it just to suck, right? They have this annoying little girl playing Princess Leia as a young kid. And, an annoying kid can just wreck a movie or TV show. And this kid's maybe the most annoying kid I've seen in one of these. I mean, just really brutal. And there's lots of plot holes, including the fact that, in the first Star Wars movie, when Luke Skywalker discovers that Ben Kenobi is actually Obi-Wan Kenobi, it kind of, it didn't raise any red flags because, again, it was the first movie. But now knowing how famous Obi-Wan Kenobi was and how hunted he was, why would he change his name and keep the same last name? When they put someone in witness protection, they don't change just your first name, right? And this guy was, much more wanted. He was hunted by some guy who's, dripping with the dark force or whatever it is, right? The dark side of the force, and has all kinds of abilities and an empire at his disposal. And he basically, he doesn't really, he grows a beard, and he changes his first name, right? And nothing else. But there's so many things in this TV series that just, it fails on an epic level. But one scene sticks out. I think it's in episode 3. And Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi have a, laser lightsaber fight, or what they call the thing, right? And Darth Vader's grown more powerful, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's weak, and so he's trying to run away from him. And, there's a plot hole in this. When you do prequels and sequels and offshoots, you're going to run into a lot of plot holes. And in this one, the way that they presented the Star Wars movies was that Obi-Wan Kenobi crippled Anakin Skywalker, cut off his arms and legs and left him to burn next to on a fiery planet, and then took off, and he was saved and turned into Darth Vader. And that was the last time they saw each other until the, first movie, The New Hope, with Luke Skywalker. So according to the other movies, this fight never happened, but they have it anyway. But this is so epically bad a fight scene, and let me just show you it here. First, Darth Vader suspends Obi-Wan Kenobi in midair, and it goes on for a little bit. And then he sets fire to, he knocked over some big machinery. I don't know if he spilled fuel out or something. I don't know. It's not really clear, but he then puts the lightsaber down and sets fire to the ground underneath or between him and Anakin Skywalker. Another thing, and it was very clear in, I think, the episode that follows this one, they show the first fight, or a fight between, a training fight between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? And there's that actor who played Anakin Skywalker, that annoying actor, who talks in a very repressed way, like very fear-based way, and a very sort of effeminate voice. And then they play James Earl Jones voice dubbing in as Darth Vader, and it becomes so obvious that there's no way Anakin Skywalker's voice could have turned into Darth Vader's voice. Despite all the... I mean, it's just... but anyways, let's move on here.
Now you will suffer, Obi-Wan.
And this is just cut right, I mean, it's just so lame. But he throws him down in the fire like he was thrown down the fire of their last fight, to burn him, right? The same way he was burned.
Your pain has just begun.
All of our pain has just begun. And, the annoying kid isn't even in this scene. So then a bunch of stormtroopers come up. Not that Darth Vader needed any help, right? And he puts out the fire because he wants to torture the guy some more or whatever. And herein lies the problem, because he's got to get out of this thing either now or in the future, because he's alive in the fourth movie, right? That he's alive in the, in the future, just as Darth Vader is, just as Princess Leia is. And so whenever they're in a bind, they're going to get out. I mean, anyway, because, the heroes of the movie just, get out of these things. But you're like, well, how is this going to be possible for him to be rescued, right? Because they have not only Darth Vader, but these other powerful inquisitors, and they have a whole army and an empire there, and they just have a ragtag bunch of rebels. So how is he possibly going to get out of this situation? There's 135-pound, 40-year-old woman who is a, sort of a rebel leader who's there to help Luke Skywalker, or Obi-Wan Kenobi. And she shoots another generator, not the one that Darth Vader knocked over with his force. And it explodes into a fire over the exact same spot that was on fire before, right? Now, this slow-ass maintenance robot picks up Luke Skywalker, and Darth Vader just stares into the flames. You'll see that in a moment. So this woman shoots and blows up the generator, or whatever it is, the equipment. And the fire's about 50 foot long. And they could just walk around the fire to get to the... I mean, they got a bunch of soldiers. They got Darth Vader, and they got, a burnt Obi-Wan Kenobi who's passed out, a slow-ass robot, and a single woman who's up in the rocks who they could easily capture. But they all just stare at the flames, plus Darth Vader, who just, throughout the last, bunch of scenes, not only did he pick up Anakin Skywalker and pick up a huge machine, but he was picking up people and killing them and picking them up, picking up stuff and throwing it all over the place with his, dark side of the Force stuff. And so, he could have just taken the robot and Anakin Sky and Obi-Wan Kenobi from that side of the fire to his side of the fire, right? Like, we've established all these things, and his one preoccupation is to get Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's all he thinks about. Like, it's his obsession. He's got him. He's 50 feet away from him. He just was going to capture him. All he has to do is either walk around the flames or send the stormtroopers around the flames, wax that useless robot, and or use the Force to pick him up and bring him towards him, but he just lets them escape. Like, in just, you saw that he was picking up Anakin Skywalker, so he knows he could pick him up and throw him around, and at the same time knock over something and set it on fire with his other hand, right? And so it's already been established that he can pick up Obi-Wan Kenobi with his mind, because he's just been doing it, 2 minutes ago. And yet he lets this robot just pick him up and walk away with him. And so it's one of these just really flagrant. I mean, there's lots of bad scenes in TV shows and movies. There's lots of plot holes. There's all these things, right? Especially science fiction stuff and time travel stuff. I mean, there's just going to be them. And if the rest of the show is of a good quality, or the series or the franchise, you can let it go. But Star Wars has got way too many passes for their horrible filmmaking. And so you see Darth Vader is just staring at the flames here, not moving. Like, they can walk around the flames. Where they're shooting at, right? He can just literally walk around the side of the flames or levitate the guy, but they just watch him get away. Because they have to, because it's in the script, right? But that makes no sense. And there's a number of things like this. This is just one of the more flagrant, because he was just picking the guy up, a minute ago, and now he's just letting him walk away. But they end up capturing the very annoying girl, Princess Leia, as a kid, and they're going to go torture her. But this woman, this rebel woman, and a still suffering from burns Obi-Wan Kenobi go to this, highly secure place, like they always do, a stronghold for the Empire, and they break in. They run around the place, and they break the girl out, which is inconceivable, but whatever. But then there's a woman who's an ambitious woman who's one of the Inquisitors that are these former Jedi that are now hunting the remaining Jedi, right? And she is about to be killed by Darth Vader. He's strangling her for failure. And then she says she put a tracking device in the robot, the little handheld robot the Princess Leia was holding. And he commends her for her brilliance, right? But this has happened before. Like, this is it happened in the original Star Wars film, at least that one, but I think it's happened a couple of times. And they put a tracking device on the rebels and then follow them to the planet. And so you think they would have learned or developed some sort of technology where they can detect whether a tracking device is in or on their vehicle, right? It's the same old stupid plots and plot holes that they've been doing for years. And, and I can only scratch the surface here, but I want to move on to Corey J. Feldman. And so there was a film that I saw, and there's a movie that came out in 2021 called 13 Fanboy. And I noticed it starred Corey J. Feldman, so I taped it. And it seems to be something to do with Friday the 13th and the fandom behind these horror movies. And so they've taken people, real actors and actresses. The actresses look a lot like broken down former porn stars, right? Because those movies are horrible, right? Those horror movies, they're not well made. They're like B movies, and this is like a D movie knockoff. And there are supposed to be some obsessed fans It stars this older actress named Dee Wallace that made a lot of films when I was like in my, high school, even elementary school days. And she's really old and still a very bad actress. And the acting's really bad. I didn't watch the movie. I just went and got the Corey Feldman parts. But it is, hilariously bad. And so Corey Feldman plays a very sleazy producer. And then I remembered he was in this film called Corbin Nash, where he plays a vampire named Queenie. So I thought he'd do a montage of these two movies, just take little clips of each one of them. I can use it as a meme later on. And just compare, Corey's acting ability from 2018 to 2021 and figure which role he pulled off better. So here it goes.
Oh, excuse me, sorry. Don't mean to interrupt, but I gotta interrupt. Mike Merriman, how are you?
I am a cold-blooded f***ing killer.
Caitlin Price, I love your work. Oh my God, I've been following you. You're amazing.
Oh my. That's a big gun.
You are my favorite new up-and-coming actress. By the way, can we get a photo? Let's get a photo. Let's get this.
Ooh, are you a cop?
There you go.
Hey, that's $35.
Yeah, I'll get it. All right, look good. There we go.
Don't you come any closer.
Cute. Hey, listen, you know what? I want to put you in my new movie. I'm working on Bloodlust 3. Let's show them who is boss.
I know what you are. Well, tell me.
Oh, no.
Gotta keep wardrobe clean. You know this one.
Yeah, I know, but then you ruin the view for the rest of us. Well,
Great team, Kels.
Kelsey, are you doing the shower scene later?
Uh-huh.
That's good, because I'm really looking forward to the nude scene.
I like this one. He's feisty.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I think everybody here is.
This is my favorite part.
Kelsey, baby, it's me. Let them know I'm a producer on Bloodlust 3. I'm her producer. I was just trying to say hi to Kelsey and meet Dee for the first time. Tell me, how old am I again?
Okay, so those are the comedy stylings of when Corey Jelly Feldman. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely reporting from the Apocalypse and the Ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.